The orchestra, you know. Welcome back to the Spanglish Show with yours truly, Nelson Martinez. So nice to have you with us, by golly, again and again. And I'm seeing the views increase. This is a year almost plus. We came on the air and on Thanksgiving Day, 2024. And thus far, we accumulated a few sponsors. Thank you, muchas gracias. And that's not so important, to tell you the real truth. The guests that I've had have been fabulous. I've learned so much from them. Ambassador Edward Romero, ambassador to Spain under Clinton administration. You may remember that. He's a gentleman. Please look at his episode. It's in here somewhere. You just Google it. And also the New Mexico Supreme Court Justice, Patricia Cernas. He's on there, and he's such a delightful man to interview. So many others, even a músico or two or three. James Espinosa, a good friend of mine from northern New Mexico. I knew him a long time ago, and I've been friends ever since. And his ex-wife, Angel Espinosa, just a wonderful lady. We'll talk more about her. But together, they produced a son that is just fabulous. It's Santiago Alberto, as he goes by now. And we interviewed them as well, or I did. And look it up. You'll I think, enjoy it. So once again, the Spanglish Show, again and again, thank you for following. We've got another guest here that I think you'll really like. And he's none other than Abe Torres. Remember that name? Abe Torres. Buenas tardes. Buenos dias.
Buenas tardes, and thank you. What an honor. And yeah, you know, now that I realize the list of guests you have had, wow, what an honor.
Hey, the honor has been mine, really, seriously. The people that continue to say, hey, I've got a story to tell, and so here we are. And your story, Abe, you know, I got to tell you, this gentleman, you may not know of him broadly, per se. He's behind the curtain over there, for example, in the National Hispanic Center, Cultural Center. He's out there making sure he's got his headphones on, talking to everybody that's involved, making sure everything's on time and rolling. And oh my God, I admire that.
You know, that training is more recent in my history as a musician and my career as you know, a production person and everything else. I guess the formal title is you're calling the show. You basically you're giving instructions to everything from the spot operators to the lighting guys, the audio engineers, the curtain pullers, the stage crews, everybody that's involved in the production. But yeah, it's a lot of fun, to be honest. I'm going to tell you, man, calling a show is very rewarding.
That's very cool. And again, as I say, I am so privileged after retiring from Channel 7 to pick up on this podcast thing. And it's another way to show my appreciation for all the folks that were wondering, where did Nelson go? Well, I'm at a podcast. Tell your friends about it. Tell your mother if she's still around, because I had heard from so many senior citizens that they loved to tune in because, well, Nelson Martinez was there on Action 7 News. And that's not bragging. Bragging is when you can't prove it. Well, I certainly can prove how loyal all of you have been to me. And consequently, here we are with a nice list of guests. So before I keep going and talking and our guest waits, well, you going to ask me anything? Let me take the first break, because there's so much to cover with el señor Abe Torres, Avecino. Avenicio.
With a V.
Avenicio.
There you
Es
go.
un nombre muy bonito. Right back from
I
the
agree.
days when I was growing
agree.
up, for sure. Bueno, ahí venemos en un momento o dos. Don't go away. Thank you for tuning in. The Spanglish Show with yours truly, Nelson Martinez.
The New Mexico Music Hall of Fame Award Show is Saturday, November 29th at the National Hispanic Cultural Center. Call 505-383-4771 for info.
Hi there. The Spanglish Show with Nelson Martinez proudly welcomes our new sponsors. That's right, La Mexicana Tortilla Company. Oh boy, it'll bring you the greatest food and taste and service every time. Thank you to you and Flor de las Flores Dispensary, your go-to spot for care and good service. Thank you. Gracias for supporting our show and community. Really nice to hear that. Stay tuned and stay connected. And welcome back to the Spanglish Show. I'm Nelson Martinez. Glad to have you around. We've got El Señor Abe Torres with us today. Hi, Abe.
Well, hello, man. What a great day. What a great day.
What a great day indeed. And I've invited Mr. Torres in because he's got all kinds of titles. My goodness gracious. He is the, well, we'll call him, let's see, I even had to write it down because, he's the production events coordinator. Well, that's easy to remember if you're young, but I had to write. Anyway, that's what he does. And you know where? It's over at the National Hispanic Cultural Center, no?
Well, the event is one that it's kind of a homecoming thing for me at the National Hispanic Cultural Center. I worked there from 2004 to 2008 as the production and events coordinator, Roy Disney Center for Performing Arts. So when we go back and do this show, it's kind of a homecoming for me. I enjoy it.
Well, so explain what exactly a coordinator does. I know. I've watched you in action. Boy, he's good. And the show runs so smoothly because of Abe Torres. No kidding.
It takes an army, but yeah, somebody's got to kind of pull it together. And the show we're talking about in particular is the New Mexico Music Hall of Fame induction ceremony.
Right.
And we're getting ready to do that one up in November, coming in November this month. And we'll talk about that a little bit more. But a production and events coordinator advances the shows, from the beginning for the most part. And he's the point of contact with the artists and that are coming in. And in the case of the National Hispanic Cultural Center, they came in from all over the world.
They do.
Yeah, it was a test on my ability to communicate in 10 different forms of Spanish.
10 different forms of Spanish. The thing about it is I watched you back there with your headsets on, and you make sure everybody's on time to and get ready to come. It's pretty impressive what you do.
The ClearComm setup that we use allows you to communicate, like I said, with all of the different technicians and stagehands and everybody that's involved. So yeah, you're running a script that I write in advance. When you call a show, you have all of your cues set up, and you say, okay, we're going to lighting scene 3, audio scene 4, curtain call.
Oh my goodness!
Count it down, 3, 2, 1, curtain roll. Hit the cues.
There you go.
And then, boom, everything just sounds, just comes on automatically. But
people sitting in the audience there think, oh, hey, this is what happens. This is natural. It'd be chaotic if somebody weren't.
It's important that it's choreographed, yes.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Well, that reminds me, because I'm been invited to be the master of ceremonies at an event there, and Mr. Abe is fully engulfed in that event. Tell us about it, Abe.
Well, it's a passion. The event is a passion. I sit on the board of directors with the New Mexico Music Hall of Fame, and having the 60 years in the music industry, it's kind of a grand icing on the cake, you might say, to be involved with the New Mexico Music Hall of Fame and entertain the inductions for all of these artists that have dedicated a lifetime to their music.
Absolutely. And so in November of 2025, this will air soon, but it'll keep on airing year after year after year. So we're hoping that this will stay alive. Now explain to our followers, what exactly is this inductee celebration?
Well, there's 2 parts to the process. There's actually 3 parts to the process to figuring out who the class is. And this year, the class of 2025, as usual, is stellar. I always wonder, how are we going to top this class? And we always seem to come up with an answer, So this year is no exception. And you'll see when we get on the topic of who the inductees are this year. It's reoccurring. So like you said, you can watch this in 2 years from now, and it'll still be the same process involved, where the nominations are brought in. Okay, we take our nominations. We send the packages to the selection committee. The selection committee does their numerical analysis, returns their results after they've reviewed the packages intensely, and that's when we come up with our class. We also have the Lifetime Achievement, which is selected by the board of directors, and recently introduced the Presidential Award.
And this is all centered around, of course, the talented musicians of New Mexico, per se?
Well, the criteria in itself explains the level of inductees. All the years, their experience. It's all on our website, as a matter of fact. I think now would be a good time in case people are curious to what the criteria is for nominating an artist, and it can be different genres of entertainment. It can be concert producers, it can be DJs, it can be producers, but typically it's musicians, individual and groups.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
the website is the New Mexico Music Hall of Fame. Just go to the New Mexico Music Hall of Fame, Google search it, and it'll pop it up, and you can get on and find out what the process is.
Oh, and give me that address again, and we'll just put it up on the screen.
It's simply the title, New Mexico Music Hall of Fame, or the initials, NMM.
H-A...
HOF.
Something.
There you go. See, you called me, challenged me on that one. Yeah, but New Mexico Music Hall of Fame, if you just type that in, it'll give you the website.
Good deal. So at the National Hispanic Cultural Center, what a venue that is, first and foremost. I take a special interest because an uncle through marriage, Edward Romero, had a lot to do with the bringing of that, and his wife Cayetana, of course. Amazing people.
Well, the history of the National Hispanic Cultural Center is just amazing in itself. And, there's different entities within the title. There's the Performing Arts Division, there's the Education Division, the Cervantes Division, there's the Art Gallery, there's the...
a lot of people.
Yeah, no. So, once you really start to dissect the National Hispanic Cultural Center, and it's very dear to me as well, because I was there when the Roy Disney Center opened, and I had a part in this big effort to get performing arts there, and it has just snowballed and become one of the premier venues in the state of New Mexico for art, not just Hispanic, but primarily fulfilling the mission statement of contributing to Hispanic culture.
Wonderful. Speaking of which, so I was saying, the invitation for this beautiful event. You want to talk about that and all the people that are going?
The cast is incredible because we include along with the inductions, which are moments of happiness, moments of very touching moments, and the history. And one of the terms we hear the most is, "Well, I didn't know that." When we start to give you the backgrounds of these artists that get inducted, they're just incredible stories. And the tickets are available through the date. First of all, is the 29th, Saturday, the 29th of November.
Of 2025.
Of 2025,
we'll be seen
and
way after that.
I forget about that.
But every year, it's about November.
It's a continual event, and you can get tickets. Just go to National Hispanic Cultural Center, and they'll give you the information there, as well as our website.
Right on. So you started to say the entry fee, or whatever it is, for people who just want to go out there and enjoy the evening.
It's a very humble, modest price for this show, especially when we announce our entertainment for the year. Yeah. It's $20, and I think there's some service fees and
$20 these days is
very
nothing
nominal.
Really per se. I mean, $20 is $20
for the level of production that this show.
The production, the work that goes into it, my friend. I'm so amazed at the generosity of people who get into the deal. Get into the deal meaning the event, what's behind it, the music, the talented folks.
Ultimately, the goal is to instill names for the rest of history. Once you're inducted into the Hall of Fame, you're there forever. It's like any other Hall of Fame. New Mexico Music, all genre event. So we because of the demographics, we get a lot of Latin stuff, but this year we're inducting jazz artists. We're inducting an incredible Native American artist, 2-time Grammy Award winner, and it's the diversity is just unbelievable.
Okay, Abe. We're talking to Abe, who is, well, you got a little hint of what he does behind the scene, but he's also one heck of a musician from age 7 or so. Okay, fíjate nomás. But anyway, we're going to talk a little bit about his background in that regard when we come back. We'll take another quick break, but the main thing, we're going to tell you who's been celebrated on this 29th of November. No? It is the 29th. Just make sure, Saturday the 29th. And we'll talk about that when we come back and say a shout out to those folks that are standing in line, waiting for the exciting event. And a couple for sure are my very good friends. No partiality there. Had nothing to do with the judging. But nevertheless, we'll be right back and we'll get into those beautiful inductees, if you will. Yeah? Inductees. Ahí estamos. We'll be right back.
The New Mexico Music Hall of Fame Award show is Saturday, November 29th. At the National Hispanic Cultural Center. Call 505-383-4771 for info.
Hi there. The Spanglish Show with Nelson Martinez proudly welcomes our new sponsors. That's right, La Mexicana Tortilla Company. Oh boy, it'll bring you the greatest food and taste and service every time. Thank you to you and Flor de las Flores Dispensary, your go-to spot for care and good service. Thank you. Gracias for supporting our show and community. Really nice to hear that. Stay tuned and stay connected. All right, well, thank you for sticking around here on the Nelson Show. Más o menos, it's called the Spanglish Show with yours truly, Nelson Martinez, your former news anchor. Well, you know all about that. But nevertheless, here we are podcasting as 24, 25 other million people are. But ours is an outstanding show, and that's why we're here to let it wiggle its way through the universe, as I told you before. Today's special guest, they're all special. I know I've told you before. Abe Torres. And as you first heard before we went to the break, he's that production events coordinator over at the National Hispanic Cultural Center. What a talent you have, Senor Torres.
Well, it's
See how humble he is?
It's years in the making. That's what it is. You know,
Amen.
I mean, you know, that's what it is.
That's a way to say it for sure. Years in the making. It's not an overnight deal. Let's talk, Abe, about the folks that we're going to celebrate on the 29th.
Well, you know, I mentioned earlier that every year we wonder how are we going to top that year's cast, you know, and they just keep coming, and the class is incredible this year. And I'll just briefly mention there'll be 9 inductees this year, and 6 of them were selected by the judging selection committees, and they are, I'm just going to name them and talk a little bit about them. Mariachi Tenampa, long overdue,
yes.
One of the most incredible mariachis ever to come out of New Mexico, and literally I could say they're competitive on a national level. On a national level.
Bet.
Absolutely.
Bet. I've got to say, they recorded my first song. Yeah, I got to sneak that in there.
You know, you said you had ties. That's one of them.
Well, Sabor a Mi, I remember, and we did it in a bedroom of a friend. I forget his name now. I wish I could. But nevertheless, forgive me for not remembering. The house, it was right there. The mariachi came in. Mariachi Tenapa. They went ahead and Sabor a Mi was one of the songs. Remember that song?
Yeah, of course.
Tanto tiempo
Of course.
disfrutamos.
Of course. Classic.
Pero qué bonito talento tienen esa gente, and I'm glad they have been nominated. Next in line, senor.
Next in line is, I'll just name him. There's no particular order here, but he was the he was the band director in charge of jazz studies at the University of New Mexico. But that's kind of just one part of his incredible career. Mr. Glenn Coster, who he was originally from Salem, Oregon, went to after high school to North Texas State, played in the 1 O'Clock Band for 2 years, got his bachelor's degree there, moved on to Maynard Ferguson, ended up at the University of DePaul for his master's in music. We were so fortunate as a community when he picked the University of New Mexico, where he taught for decades, and just encouraged the lives of many, many musicians who have gone on to become educators, and incredible player, incredible story. Glenn Coster, you got to come. He's going to be performing that evening with the Albuquerque Jazz Orchestra. He's their musical director. It's a 19-piece orchestra that that's going to be one of our opening. They are our opening act of the show. We have 5 live performances, but Glenn will be directing that orchestra.
At the National Hispanic Cultural Center. Again, I don't know when you're going to be watching this, but if it's before November 29th, 2025, come on down. We're going to have a good time. And again, I'm going to love emceeing that show. It always is so colorful, so well run. And thanks to you again.
It's a wonderful event. Let's move on here to our other artist. I spoke earlier about the Native American two-time Grammy Award winner, a name that is well known throughout the state of New Mexico, starting to get super well known throughout the United States and many different parts of the world, and that's Robert Mirival from the Pueblo of Taos.
Amen.
Incredible personality, incredible musician, incredible talent. He's carries the traditions of and he is proud of saying it. He doesn't shy away from it. He emphasizes it. The guy is an amazing story. And again, you don't get 2 Grammys just by being a person that's in the right place at the right time. The guy's an incredible talent, an actor, songwriter, flute maker, storyteller, composer, producer, musician. The titles all fit. Robert, welcome to the class of 2025.
Here. Looking forward to it.
Let's see. We've got Sandra Eiseminger. Can I talk about her for just a minute? This is a lady that we lost way too soon. I had the pleasure of performing with her on my first national tour in the late 70s. And she went on to just give the biggest part of her life and her heart, and just a devout Christian and incredible musical talent who fronted several groups on national levels and in local levels and touring levels. She is going to be paid a special tribute that evening by her daughter and her husband, John Eiseminger. Sandra, when I worked with her, she was Sandra Bracken, later married John Eiseminger, and their lovely daughter is the vocalist that's going to pay tribute to her, and she herself just came up with the same vocal quality as Sandra, so we're pleased to induct Sandra this year into the Hall of Fame as well.
Eiseminger.
Okay,
I got it. And then who else do we go to?
Let's see. This is another name that you just mentioned, and everybody that lives in the world of music in New Mexico and in Albuquerque, Ivan Ulavari.
Oh, yeah.
Who just kicked the doors in as one of the fundamental, instrumental person in introducing the salsa music form to our music communities. And Ivan is just is so full of talent, internationally recognized as a songwriter. She's dedicated her life to not just music, but the community. And her wings were spread over many different projects when she was employed by YDI Youth Development and intervention programs. And her music speaks for itself.
Definitely.
Yvonne, welcome to the class of 2025.
Bravo. Absolutely. She's been around for a while.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Maud Bienauer. Maud is, we actually spent a few semesters at UNM together. She's a bass player extraordinaire, originally from Santa Fe, moved to Albuquerque, just found herself dabbling around the local music jam sessions, worked her way up into her degree in music studies, and incredible bass player. Her ability to read charts, I don't care what you put in front of her, she reads it. Former president and of the New Mexico Jazz Workshop. She plays locally with several different types of groups, from impromptu jazz to pop dance groups. And Maud is one of those persons who often flies under the radar until you're in the music business and you realize the magnitude of her knowledge and her ability to play music.
Abe, you are a walking dictionary there, or a biographer, if you will.
I write the mini bio, so it helps, Nelson, that I have to do my research on him.
That's for
what
sure.
else do we have here?
Oh, one of my favorites.
Angel Espinosa. You mentioned her.
Yes.
This girl is another just super amazing story. You know, we know her as this wonderful, lovely lady. She's very
My norteña
just
friend.
beautiful.
Yes.
And her diction is when she sings. I mean, she developed during her time, early years in Vegas. She was well received in Las Vegas and performed as an opening act for many of the national touring acts that went through Vegas, but established herself as a star. And she's gone on to live in three worlds: the northern New Mexico music. She is Well known for that. She is well known for her Vegas interpretations of power dance material. She created a show, the Sonny and Cher show, where she imitated Cher, and I mean quite well.
Oh.
And then her world of mariachi as well.
Yes.
Her son, Santiago, is now currently, he grew up in the music scene. He's currently the lead vocalist with the Mariachi LA Rams.
That's
the Rams,
right.
yeah,
Oh,
he
I love that
relocated
kid.
to LA, and
Kid.
he's just a local kid, man. Local kid.
You'll say. I
crawled out
really
from under the
admire him.
fence.
Totally.
So, Angel, welcome to the class of
Yes,
2025.
indeed. Here, here, Angel. I love you to pieces. That's for sure.
Here's one you're going to love. Demi Moore. Yes, Demi Moore.
The one from
Roswell, New
Oh,
Mexico.
my gosh.
I started doing the research when she was one of the presidential selections on Michael E. Sanchez, the founding president of the New Mexico Music Hall of Fame. They're allotted their presidential choice, and he said, "Let's do this. Let's get Demi Moore inducted." Well, I started researching her music background. It turns out that she actually. Her first husband was a record producer in Los Angeles, and she started writing, recording, and singing songs that are still published to this day and receive airplay. She was also a vocalist on 2 of her earlier movies, musical parts. So her music world was taking off till obviously her actress world just blew up, and she just became this world-class, worldwide, world-renowned actress. But she was from Roswell. Her grandma, I love this part, was from Elida, New Mexico. Google that one, folks.
Yeah, no
Do
kidding.
your research on Elida, New Mexico. There might be 25 families left there right now.
That's amazing.
Welcome to me more to the class of 2025.
You betcha.
I've pretty much touched on Glenn, Sandra, Lifetime Achievement recipient. This year, the Michael E. Sanchez Lifetime Achievement Award goes to the First Lady of, you could say First Lady of Music, but especially mariachi, Norberta Frescas.
That's what I'm waiting for.
Why don't you talk a little bit about her, because you had intermixings with her with Mariachi Spectacular.
For many, many, many years. I worked for Channel 7 since early 80s, I believe. And early 80s, I think so. Anyway, that's when I met Norberta, as she was with the UNM Continuing Education program of Mariachi Spectacular and this and that. And boy, is she a hard worker. I kept saying, why does she do this for? Because it was 24/7 for her. I mean, to coordinate all the mariachi groups who were coming into town. She had a lot of help, of course, and she would be the first to tell you, "Oh, it's not me, it's this," but it was her. Well, it's the coordinator, you know what I mean? Kind of like you, Abe.
She's definitely responsible for the development of that, becoming arguably one of the largest, if not the largest, mariachi spectaculars in the world. Certainly the United States. She battles that event battles with anything they can come up with in Miami and in Los Angeles, any of the Texas cities. Norberta also dabbled as a programming director, and more than dabbled, ran it for close to a decade, the Via Hispana at the Nationals, at the the State Fairgrounds.
Yes.
And that's when I really got to know her, because as a performing artist, we would play there often, and I did audio engineering and different things. So Norberta and I spent a lot of time together in the trenches, you might say.
Yes.
And she was also one of the first concert promoters ever to come out of Albuquerque, and her history is just phenomenal. Please come to the event and meet Norberta, or at least do some research on her background, because she is one of the most phenomenal persons I've ever met when it comes to event management.
And Abe, she introduced me to some fabulous people. She knows everybody.
Really does.
Everybody. Mariachi Vargas de Tecalitlan and all those folks that, make that magic. Sol de Mexico, Jose Hernandez.
I know.
Maestro. She knows so many people.
You're absolutely correct.
All those people. And you know what? When you meet a person that has met so many talented and beautiful people, well, she's part of all of those people, and you can feel the vibe. I mean, you don't waste your time talking to this woman who will be inducted or celebrated. She's already inducted, Skeno.
She will be officially inducted. She's already on the roster.
On the roster.
That's what the event is for, to be the final leg in what will become another historical night. They'll be archived forever in the New Mexico Music Hall of Fame.
That's an honor, for sure, you know.
So those are our 9 inductees. You just met them. They're all celebrated artists and nationally and in many cases internationally acclaimed.
Abe, it's really nice to have you explain all of that, because if anybody knows anything about that show, the 2025 award show, and all the previous ones and the ones to come, hopefully, thanks for your support. None other to talk about that subject than Abe Torres. And so we're going to wrap this section up. However, I want to know a little bit more, and I want to pass it on to you who Abe Torres is. Where did he start his career? When? What did he do? You got to stick around for that on the next episode. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Abe, for all the info.
Again, what a pleasure, and thank you.
Thank
you.
The
Spanglish Show, I love it.
Hey, you got a coffee cup there for you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, be sure to take it home. And there you go. Remember our great interview here and as a guest of the Spanglish Show. Muchísimas gracias, señor Abenicio.
Abenicio.
I got it. Abenicio, como una V. Abenicio. Don't they say B's are pronounced like V's in Spanish? You know? So how
in
do you
this
spell it?
particular case, the V is distinctive. Avenicio. Avenicio.
Beautiful name. No question about it. You are too, señor. Muchas gracias for your information. And National Hispanic Center, no se les olvide.
29th
The 29th
of November,
and
2025.
every year anyway. If you see this 3-4 every years, call them and see, you have one tonight or this year, blah, blah. But this year, 2025, get set, put on your cowboy hat or whatever, mariachi hat as well.
You can wear them all. It's an all-genre show.
Oh, don't wear any. No, don't say that. No. Whatever you want to be comfortable in, come on down. And thank you again. And thank you. Hasta luego. We shall return with a little bit about Abe Torres, what we call the production events coordinator. Takes talent for that, my friend. Thank you. Ahí nos vemos en unos ratos.
The New Mexico Music Hall of Fame Award Show is Saturday, November 29th. At the National Hispanic Cultural Center. Call 505-383-4771 for info. The Spanglish Show with Nelson Martinez, a dynamic new video podcast series. Highlighting successful and influential figures from Albuquerque. The show dives into topics such as success, music, politics, and art, offering engaging conversations with notable guests. Drawing on over 17 years of experience as a news anchor for KOAT TV Channel 7, Nelson brings a seasoned perspective to his hosting. Website: NelsonMartinezTV.com. Coffee cups available for only $20.